Well, the Special Investigating Unit has revealed around 6,000 government officials claimed more than 41 million rand from the UIF COVID-19 Temporary Employer-Employee Relief Scheme. The TERS were meant to bring some relief to workers and businesses that were not generating any income during the COVID-19 national lockdown. SIU spokesperson Kaizer Kganyago joins us live now with more details. Dr. Kganyago, thanks a lot for joining us this evening. Just take us through some of your findings as the SIU.
As the SIU, maybe let me give you a little bit of a background. We were requested to look into the issue of the UIF, and while we were busy doing that, we were then given an opportunity to then look at the AG's report, and then we then went into it. And what we then found was very scary. We found, for example, that there were South African Defence Force members, to be exact, about 59 of them, who claimed from this scheme, and they were using about 55 bank accounts. We also found that there were 7 inmates who were identified, those who are sitting in prison, who claimed a total value of about 40,000 rand in the same scheme. We also found that there were deceased people, about 68 of them, who also claimed from this account with the 72 bank accounts. We also found that there were about 6,140 government officials who were also claiming from that, and they claimed a total of about 41 million plus from that, using about 3,959 bank accounts. And those are some of the findings that we got.
I mean, in essence, these are individuals that broke the law. So what are the repercussions in that regard? Will they be arrested?
Our responsibility is to make sure that the monies that were taken have to be returned. And that's the first part. But we then are working with other law enforcement agencies to refer them, because they've now broken the law. We need to refer them to the NPA and the Hawks to make sure that the criminal side of things is also taken care of, because this is really a serious matter where people are benefiting. They are getting their salaries from government. The salaries were never cut by government throughout the COVID-19 period, but they still went ahead and took from the people who are not benefiting during this period, and that for us is a very serious problem. Yeah. And we felt it is important that it be dealt with. And you might have seen that Scopa even visited them on Friday to go and see for themselves the issues that they are raising there. And that is a collective way of dealing with this matter to make sure that we get to the bottom of it.
I mean, as a South African, it's quite disheartening to know that even members of the South African National Defence Force have been implicated. Individuals that are supposed to be protecting the state have also been seen to be looting from the very same state. What has been the response from government regarding some of these findings?
I think the Department of Labour is taking steps against people who have worked, because obviously for such a thing to happen, there would have been insiders who were responsible or helping people, because in some of the instances you find that there are duplicate bank accounts. In some of the instances you find that they would have known, because all of these 6,140 officials have got PERSAL, which links them to an employment in government. And all of those things should have been checked. Therefore, all of those people, we have been promised by the Department of Labour, because they are the ones who requested us on a secondment to deal with this, to say we are going to get to the bottom of it, and they will deal with all of those officials that are involved in this particular problem.
I mean, obviously the investigation is ongoing, and but it's also important to note that the UIF has reached that magical 51 billion rand in COVID-19 temporary employee relief scheme. And whilst you can praise and say well done to South Africa for being able to disperse it, one wonders whether or not the intended money got to the people that were supposed to use it the most, or that 51 billion rand that we're speaking of was actually looted, as you are seeing per your investigations, instead of being actually given and dispersed to those South Africans that needed it the most.
Definitely, and that is really a problem. That is why it is important for all of us as law enforcement agencies to get to the bottom of this, because when we were doing our investigation, we were in contact with other law enforcement agencies, and there are already cases that were opened, and then there are people that were arrested in relation to UIF issues. Therefore, we see movement in that. For an example, the figure that we were given at some point of the potential loss on the people that were arrested is about 14.4 billion. And then for us, we are saying, let us get to the bottom of it and recover whatever needs to be recovered. And we, from our side, we will make sure that we will recover whatever was lost and to the state, and we bring it back to the people of South Africa, because those people that were suffering during lockdown deserve that money, not the people that were not suffering, that were getting their salaries. And for us, that is a very serious matter. And as the SIU, like we've always promised, we'll get to the bottom of each and every issue that we are investigating, and we work with integrity, because integrity is everything to us.
Well, how long are you going to take to get to the bottom of this? Is it going to be a year? Is it going to be 6 months? How long are we looking?
You would have seen, Faith, that we are moving very fast nowadays. There was a time when they were saying we're taking long. This matter was brought to our attention on the 22nd of August, and our secondment with the Department of Labor ends on the 5th of December, which means we would have dealt with this matter by that time.
The SIU spokesperson Kaizer Kganyago joining us this evening on that matter.